My name is Emily Polson, and this semester I've had the privilege of teaching creative writing to inmates at the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility as part of the Prison Rights Initiative. This poem is called Intro to Metaphor, and it's for my former student, Flora. I asked my mid-security students how a heartbreaker is like a cannibal after we read a poem by Alice Walker, and they laughed, loaded with personal examples. Ms. Flora talked of her ex-sweetheart Sonny and his 2 secret daughters. She met her next beau at a church's chicken while studying for her business degree. I asked, how is a cup of coffee like a pardon, prison like a cardboard box? But she understands metaphor already, saying, you don't have to die to go to hell. Some poems she can't write until she follows the steam of her morning coffee north to Memphis and home. In March, she'll pack 10 years behind the promise of not returning. This next piece is an essay titled Mothers Behind Bars. I started teaching the female inmates creative writing class in the 2nd semester, so I asked the previous teacher what topics he'd already covered. He told me some of his prompts: addiction, abuse, abandonment, a day in the life of an inmate. I worried about triggering painful memories, so for the first class, I asked the women to share a happy memory from their youth. Their stories were of hide and seek in cornfields, dumpster diving, and skating on watermelon rinds. Turns out their youth was a lot like mine. In fact, most of them were 21 like me. They hadn't done anything criminal. Next class, I talked about A.E. Housman's poem, Terrence, This Is Stupid Stuff. I lectured on the importance of writing about the hard parts of life. When others read your story, it is an exercise in empathy. That's why the Prison Rights Initiative holds these classes and publishes the students' work. When we listen to the stories of this forgotten population, we acknowledge their humanity. I asked them to write about a person using concrete details. Tell me about her morning back porch smoke break or the sweat stain on his favorite hat. Jen cleared her throat and read, "It's been a while, but how do you forget?" Her son is 7 years old now, and he just wrote her for the first time in a year. They loved to go to the dollar store and Chuck E. Cheese together, had water gun fights, and played with finger lasers. "I apologize today," wrote Sheila, "for all the nights she'd missed tucking in the sheets and the unread stories at bedtime, for the empty seat at the table and at the high school graduation. I hope you know," she wrote, "all the time I've spent away I deeply regret, so I apologize today." Angela is writing a children's book about a bee called Susie who goes to school and learns about sharing. She wants to send it to her grandkids when it's finished. Sweet old Ms. Denise gave me a poem called Lady in Black about her oldest daughter's funeral. "It was the beginning of my end," she wrote. The last line, "still in black." 3/4 of all incarcerated women are mothers. 2/3 of these have children under the age of 18. In the U.S., nearly 250,000 children and counting have a mother in prison. The statistics are startling, but it is the stories that move us. Jen and Sheila did not just write about missing their children, they wrote about being with them, when they made macaroni and helped with math homework. The moment we realize how much they remind us of our own mothers, the circle of empathy is complete. While our separation from incarcerated mothers makes it easy to forget or even ignore their pain, they do not have the same privilege. Daily, they carry the burden of missed motherhood. Daily, their children feel the presence of this absence. "It's been a while," Jen said, "but how can you forget?" I hope we won't. Thank you.
Deepest, darkest places of this world. And I knew that if I would offer myself and my life in this way, that my journey would be blessed. I packed up a few meager belongings, grabbed my Bible, and headed down the hill and across the bridge to a small seaside town. From there, I knew that a way would be made clear and a destination would present itself to me. I made my way down to the docks. I soon realized it would take much more effort to continue on my journey than I had previously thought. Passage aboard a ship was much more than I had brought, and no one seemed moved enough by my mission to want to help me. So I decided that I would do what I had to do. I would stow away. But which ship should I choose? I found one that looked sturdy, that looked like it was preparing for a long voyage and which had a good biblical name, the Lazarus.
Gather it up, men. We sail before we lose the sun in the skies.
We cannot wait for the dawn.
Dusk is our mark, man. We disappear this night. Set sail!
Who are you? I'm a missionary.
What are you doing here?
I'm on my way to the mission field. I stowed away.
A stowaway?
Grab him and throw him overboard! Hold! Men, we will not shed blood so early on in our voyage. We long to sail and needn't spoil our luck. Let him go. For now. Let's get back to work, men.
You're lost. You're in the way!
Stop that!
Captain, are we clear?
Clear the bay. Open seas ahead.
Join us this evening? No, thank you. I'm reading.
See yourself.
You know how this ship got its name? I heard that it's because we're a part of a fleet of three. The Mary, the Martha, and so they named us. The Lazarus, their brother.
Whose brother?
Mary and Martha, from the Bible.
You've been talking to the missionary?
I read the Bible.
You go to church.
When I'm home, I have to go with my grandma.
That's not it. This vessel was part of a war. It took a beating in a great sea campaign. It took on water and rode lower and lower, and all was thought lost. But the men, they went below and they took their buckets, and they bailed through the night, and they bailed through the day. And they, in their might, saved the ship. All was thought lost, but the ship rose again, and that's why it's called the Lazarus. It sank. It hit bottom, but it was in port and only in a few feet of water. So they waited till a low tide, sandbagged a dry dock, made repairs, saved the life of the ship, lived again.
I know the truth. This ship was part of a fleet up north when the storm of the century rolled in, threatening to destroy the entire fleet. So they sent everyone out, but later than they should have. Sent every single ship directly into the storm, and one by one, each ship sank. When the storm finally rolled ashore, pieces and parts and wood and rope and men all over. The people at port thought sure all was lost. 3 days it was, mourning, grieving. But on the third dawn, with the sun at their backs, here comes one lone ship. It had never sank, but in their minds, resurrected. And they called it the Lazarus. The Lazarus!
Lazarus! So you're a missionary.
I guess I am.
Where are you going?
I'm not sure. I had planned on going south.
South.
Yes.
That's not where the Lazarus is going.
Ah, well, the Lord is taking me where he wants me to go.
You don't know where that is.
No, I'm letting him guide me.
I'd never leave port unless I knew where I was sailing.
Your wisdom does have some wisdom to it, but foolish things to confound the wise.
What?
That's something from the Bible. Foolish things confound the wise. Sometimes the Lord uses what seems like the weakest and most useless to accomplish his will.
Like you.
Well,
You can't do anything around here.
I guess you're right. You know, I never knew the sea could be so calm, so still.
There's a lot you don't know about the sea. I read the Bible before, you know.
I heard you say.
Seemed like a bunch of crazy stuff.
That is one way to look at it. How long ago did you read it?
I've been at sea for a long time.
Seems like you're really good at it.
Not hard to be good at working a ship, just have to know what you're doing.
I wish I knew what I was doing. Then maybe they wouldn't hate me so much.
Are you willing to learn?
I am.
We can start at dawn. Get some rest.
I will.
Can I borrow it?
What?
Your Bible. I'd like to read it again.
Oh, sure. I thank you for open doors.
A day on the sea with the sweat on me brow. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. There's port and there's starboard, the stern and the bow. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. There's no need to worry, the sea will run dry. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. The birds in the heavens have all learned to fly. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. Then the next morning he wakens again. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. We toil and we wrestle the bounding main. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky. Yo-ho, the sun's in the sky.
I see you're learning the ropes.
I am, Captain.
Don't think I'm taking you on as crew. You're earning your food and your bed, that is all. You're only alive because it's bad luck to throw you overboard.
Aye, aye.
I see what you're doing.
What's that, Captain?
You've been talking to the men.
Talking?
A lot of talking.
I'm just sharing with them what I know to be true.
Well,
Captain.
what's true is this. All that talk is just talk out here. No one walks on these waves. And if you cast your net on one side or the other, it's still the same sea. And if you get swallowed up in them, whales don't spit you back out on land. When I want this ship to go somewhere, these hands are the hands that steer the helm. Nothing else. Believe that.
I thank you for shining light in the darkness.
Wake up! Wake up! All hands on deck! Watch out!
The ship's breaking in half!
Abandon ship!
Captain!
Go!
Lord, my life is in your hands. We are all in your hands. All of us.
I can't. In your hands. Not my own. Not my own.
In the stories of the sea, when a ship goes down, it is described as a number of lives lost. That day, when the Lazarus finally slid underneath the stormy waves, a ship was lost, but all of her souls were saved.
미역국, 나의 첫 울음이 어머니께 들린 날, 미역국은 당신 것이었죠. 내게 생명을 주시다 힘이 든 어머니 위해 따뜻하게 차려진 미역국. 이상하게 내 두 번째 생일에는 나의 것이 되었습니다. 당신에게 온기를 전하고 살을 채우고 다시 설 힘을 줬던 미역국이 고작 1년 새 나를 위해 차려졌습니다. 그리고 20년이 지난 오늘도 제가 미역국을 먹네요. 참 오랫동안 내어주시기만 하시고는 언제까지 주시기만 하실련지 그 깊은 맛을 다 헤아릴 수 없을 것입니다. Seaweed soup. When my first cry reached your ears, the seaweed soup was yours. Exhausted from giving me life, you lay with the heated soup. To my surprise, you cooked the same soup on my next birthday. It gave you warmth, filled you with flesh, gave you power to stand again. All of a sudden, the seaweed soup was mine, set for me in just a year spent. Today, after 20 years, I had a bowl of seaweed soup instead of you. I've only received from you, but you still give me, and I wonder when you will not. Though I live until I taste the 100th soup, I'll never understand its depth. The second poem is called Return. 귀향. 짙은 안개가 낀 새벽, 느릿한 몸짓으로 밧줄을 푸는 어부들. 슬픈 항해를 준비하고 있다. 소리 없이 배는 바다로 흘러가고 어부 한 명은 무틀 향해서 손을 흔들고 있다. 무태서는 한 여인이 배를 향해 손을 흔들며 눈물을 훔친다. 점점 작아지는 여인의 손, 어느새 깜빡이는 점이 되었다. 그럼에도 어부의 손은 쉬지 않는다. 힘차지는 않지만 꿋꿋이 나아가는 그의 배처럼 두 사람의 손은 멈추지 않고 허공을 젓는다. 이제는 보이지 않는 손, 마음속에 남아 그리운 고향의 향기를 흘려보낸다. 이별 없이 갈 수 없는 새벽바다, 어부의 넓은 가슴도 여인의 작은 가슴도 바다만큼 많은 물을 품 안에 담고 살아간다. 귀향의 백고동 소리 울리는 그날까지. Return. Thick fog fills the dawn. Fishermen slowly untie the ropes to prepare sad journeys. Boats drift to the sea in silence. Toward the shore, a fisherman waves his hand. On the shore, a woman waves her hand to the boat and wipes her tears. Her hand dwindles, soon a point beacons from the shore. Yet the fisherman's hand does not pause. Like his boat, slow but pushing forward, those two hands ceaselessly wave in the air. Now the hands hide behind the fog, but remain inside the space between a drifting incense of home. One cannot go to sea without farewell. Both fisherman's wide chest and woman's small breast embrace all the water of sea until the returning boat whistles in the air. Thank you very much.